I think one of the most interesting aspects about Dragon Ball's world building is that from the very beginning, it's quickly established that somehow dinosaurs still exist and are honestly thriving, with multiple species appearing throughout the story, from Goku fighting a pterodactyl, Chi-Chi and Gohan both being chased by dinosaurs, and even background characters having dinosaurs as pets. Clearly, Akira Toriyama liked drawing dinosaurs so much that he decided to add them to the story and didn't bother explaining why. This puts Dragon Ball technically within the very small genre of stories about dinosaur existing in the modern day, with probably the most popular, of course, being Jurassic Park and now the Jurassic World franchise. With Jurassic Park Rebirth coming out this week, I thought it would be a perfect opportunity to talk about the scaling of the world of Jurassic Park, as these dinosaurs might actually be more powerful than you think. And who would be a more perfect person to handle an island full of dinosaurs than the most powerful martial artist on the planet, Mr. Satan? Now, I am not an expert on the exact scaling of the verse, so I decided to bring on someone who's more of an expert of these kinds of things, Goji Chronic. Would the world martial arts champion and the man who defeated Perfect Cell be able to survive against the likes of Rexy, the Indominus Rex, and the Mosasaur? Let's find out. If you like this kind of stuff, make sure to like, subscribe, and let's jump right in. Now, Mr. Satan is a fascinating character within the world of Dragon Ball, as despite being a complete conman who takes credit for everything the Z-Fighters accomplish and is laughably weak compared to some of the weakest threats in the franchise, he still might have more potential than most. Unlike even his daughter Videl or Kid Goku, Hercule accomplishes all of his impressive feats while having no understanding or potentially even a capacity to manipulate his ki. So when he does something super strong, that's literally his raw physical and muscular power on display. Imagine what he could do if he was actually trained under an actually experienced teacher. Still, on the subject of superhuman feats, as the absolute baseline, Mr. Satan already exceeds any real-world fighters, as he's able to consistently and casually one-shot other humans, with some statements saying that his punches are guaranteed to kill when using the right techniques. This easily puts Hercule into the street-level tier before getting into any of his more impressive showings. Thankfully, Hercule likes to show off on purpose, so most of his best feats happen in quick succession leading up to the Cell games and moments before fighting Cell. It's here where Mr. Satan shows off several feats of strength that show he is anything but normal. He's able to pull multiple school buses at once, completely punch through the metal side of a school bus, and when challenging Perfect Cell, was able to almost smash through 15 concrete tiles. Taken all together, these feats consistently put Mr. Satan at wall level in attack potency. However, this doesn't uniformly apply to all of his stats, as while the context slightly varies, he still gets shot by a normal bullet in both the anime and manga continuity of Dragon Ball Z. While getting hit by extremely powerful characters like Cell, Boo, and Omega Shenron has been a long-running joke with the character, it's clear that in each of these instances, the enemy is simply holding back, unless bullets in Dragon Ball are actually planet level in power, which is unlikely. Aside from his martial arts abilities, Mr. Satan's money seems to have brought him access to a wide array of different weapons and technology, some of which are far stronger than his normal power. Most importantly, he has access to a bunch of TNT that is strong enough to disintegrate a tank, which is a multi-city block busting explosion. However, he only has one of these, so it's not like it's something he can repeatedly spam. As for speed, Hercule's most impressive feat is reacting to and running away from a rocket-propelled grenade after it had already been fired, making his speed just around Mach 1. Due to the fact that he is still supposed to be a normal human, he doesn't really have any special abilities aside from just being really good at manipulating people. Still, will this superhuman be able to survive the park? I'll pass it over to Goji Chronic to find out.
Sup guys, I'm Goji Chronic and I want to thank Longs for having me. I've gone over Jurassic Park scaling multiple times on my channel, but seeing as how I'm decent at it, I might as well help Long out here. In order to get a decent AEP gauge for all of these animals, I'm just going to talk about the three main groups of theropods, being the small ones like raptors, medium-sized ones like the carnos and the allosauruses, and then we'll go over the scaling that the apex predators have, such as Rex, the Indom, all those guys. And you can assume all the other herbivores would scale to the theropod that's in their, prey competition. For example, like mini triceratopses and stegosauruses should be able to box with allosauruses, and the larger triceratopses should be able to, contend with rexes and such. But anyways, raptors are at the bottom of the food chain, and they would find themselves anywhere between wall level at a low end, as we have members of the species such as Blue who can tangle with the Indoraptor, which has bulletproof skin, meaning that he's durable enough to endure wall level amounts of AP, especially in the manner that he does where it just kind of bounces off his skin. But at best, generally speaking, the higher ends are just going to come from the fact that raptors are shown to be able to pierce and scar through apex predators such as Rexy, who can ram through concrete walls to a small building level yield and walk away from such impacts unscathed. Naturally, the larger theropods would upscale this showing, such as the Allosaurus and Carno, with the prior actually being shown on screen to be able to destroy a jeep to a small building level yield during the events of the Jurassic Park short Battle of Big Rock. And the Carno is also shown to survive a nearly building level explosion point blank during the events of the season finale of Camp Cretaceous. So they would be in the small building to maybe even building level ranges, but moving on to the full-on apex predators such as Rexy, the Giganotosaurus, Spino, Endom, and all parties have essentially been confirmed to be relative, as Rexy, Giga, and Spino are just confirmed to be able to box with each other, so they should all fall into that general gauge of AP. And while Rexy is able to one-shot previous groups of these theropods as shown during the original JP where she's making quick work of an entire raptor park, and for the medium-sized guys during the events of Fallen Kingdom, she's shown multiple times to just ragdoll the Carno. This is actually pretty consistent with a feat performed by a T-Rex known as Buck from the Lost World, in which with a simple headbutt he's able to pretty much effortlessly pulverize a bus, which would come out to around building level. And this feat is particularly interesting as Buck is a character who's weaker than Rexy, who falls into the tier of apexes that we've kind of touched on. And this is interesting because the Indominus Rex is shown to be bulletproof when shot at with Owen's gun during the climax of Jurassic World. This is important because this isn't any ordinary gun, as this gun is actually shooting rounds powerful enough to take down entire T-Rexes. Obviously, Rexy wouldn't fall into this category as she's just shown blatantly to scale relative to the Endom, but other lesser, weaker Rexes, such as Buck, should be, the type of things that this gun should be able to take out. So just multiplying that Buck feat by 10, assuming that no-selling should be relative to one-shotting in fiction, and in order to no-sell a weapon of this magnitude in the manner that she does, the Endom would have large building level durability, and Rexy is able to pierce through her hind, bite through her hind, drag her out, and all of the such. So the top tier dinosaurs would fall into that large building level ranges. Obviously you have the Mosasaur who's just above everyone, so I guess you could argue large building plus or like low city block, considering how far into large building these apexes happen to actually be in. But yeah, that thing is just above all of the other dinosaurs. It's kind of like a god tier character. I would have kind of likened him to Zeno from Dragonball. Nobody can touch him. But as for speed now, everyone scales to each other as Rexy can fend off and react and tag packs of raptors, which can run at anywhere between 34 to even as fast as 60 miles an hour in terms of confirmed statements. But you could argue that they run at faster speeds, as during, Jurassic World, they're shown to be able to run at similar pace to Owen's motorcycle, and assuming that, Owen was going at max speed, and these raptors would be actually able to run at comparable speeds to 105 miles an hour, which is casual subsonic speed stuff. And to any of you guys confused as to why, travel speed would scale to combat and reaction stuff, the raptors are shown to run and catch prey at this speed, so they would just inherently need to possess combat speed and reactions comparable to however fast they're running. But yeah, that's generally it, and I want to thank Long's Takes for having me here on the channel, so I'm going to hand the mic back to him, and we'll see how Hercule deals with these theropods.
Thank you so much for that great summary, Goji. In this scenario, we'll just say Mr. Satan goes on vacation to Jurassic World and gets extremely unlucky after there is a breakout event, running progressively into more powerful dinosaurs and either needs to beat them or escape to move on. Starting with the weakest dinosaurs like Velociraptors, Hercule would probably have a pretty easy time. Satan's power would be on a similar tier to them as they're both wall level, but Mr. Satan is significantly faster, meaning he should just be able to pummel them down, especially with his more powerful dynamite kick or megaton punch. However, moving up to the bigger dinosaurs, things begin to get pretty bad for the champ, as their feet start getting very comparable. Comparing durability, larger dinosaurs like the Indoraptor or Indominus Rex are both literally bulletproof, while Mr. Satan clearly isn't. The same thing goes for attack potency, as while Hercule punches through a bus or smashes some concrete tiles, T-Rexes in Jurassic Park can smash entire concrete walls and completely crumple and flip over very similar buses. Satan's only only chance of survival here is using his TNT to blow up any given dinosaur, but the problem is that the moment he uses it, he is now completely out of options when one other apex predator arrives. At best, he could use his burst of speed to maybe escape, but all of these dinosaurs are hunters that could probably track him down no matter where he tries to hide, because he isn't exactly a master of stealth. This isn't even bringing up the mosasaur, but to be fair, Mr. Saiyan has no reason to go into the water. So yeah, unfortunately, the strongest fighter of today would not be able to survive against the strongest beasts in history. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Thank you again to Goji Chronic for helping me make this video. Make sure to check out his channel, and thank you to my members who got to see this video early. And with that, I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.